In this topic, we're going to look at when we should use the mean, the median, or the mode. So there's different cases you're going to look at, and usually one is better than the other. Your goal when you're using the mean, the median, or the mode is that you want it to best represent the data overall. So let's look at the first one, letter A. 9 members of the swim team completed the following numbers of laps at today's practice. When I look at this data, I can see that these numbers here are all within each other. They're pretty close to each other, right? 78 to 91. Doesn't look weird. When I look at this number, though, it doesn't really fit the pattern of the other ones. This is way off, right? Most of them are in the 70s, 70 to 91. And then if you look at this number 21, that's way out of the pattern. So it's not really close to any of the other numbers. This is what we call an outlier. If you have outliers, that's really going to affect the mean. So you don't want to go with the mean. Mean is just another word for average. So the average is affected by outliers. So if you see an outlier, cross out the mean because that's going to really impact the data a lot. So what we have left is the median and the mode. And if I look at my data once more, I don't see any repeats of numbers, which means that the mode will not be a good measure either, because the mode is you're looking for a lot of repeats in the data, so numbers that repeat. So what's left is the median. So the median is the best choice. So they're saying the median is basically the middle number. And since there's 9 numbers in this data, I know the middle number would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This number right here, 85. You can see that's the middle because on the left of 85, there's 4 numbers. And to the right of 85, there's also 4 numbers. So the median is the middle. And the 85 best represents this data because most of the numbers are within that number, pretty close to 85. So the best representative of this data would be the median. Alright, let's look at letter B. Letter B says, Rita has recorded the number of miles she has driven for each of the last 10 weeks. So looking at this data, I can see we have numbers that range from 383 all the way up to 418. So a lot of these numbers are pretty close to each other. I don't see any outliers, right? Any numbers that are way out of the data. An outlier would be something like, let's say we got like 100 recorded for the mileage, or like 700. So all these are pretty close to each other, these numbers, right? They don't seem like any numbers stand out to you. That means that the mean is a good option so far. And then median could also be a good option. And then mode would be if there's a lot of repeats. Since there's no repeats, I'm not going to count the mode. So now we're going to ask ourselves, is it mean or median? So if you do have outliers, the median is a good one to go with. But since we don't, that means that the mean would be the best measure for this data here. And then letter C, a reporter has recorded the rating of each movie played in a theater over the past year. Which measure gives the most common rating? So notice here they're saying the most common. Think about if you were going to go out and actually record the ratings. You would probably see like a check mark, a lot of check marks on rated R. Maybe there's a lot of movies on PG-13. So you're going to get a lot of repeats in the data. And in this case, that's why you would want to go with the mode, because you're going to be expecting a lot of repeats because you're looking at categories now. And that's pretty much the idea behind which one to pick. Is it mean, median, or mode? So a quick review. Remember, if you see outliers, choose the median. If you see all the data that there are no outliers and all the numbers fall within each other, go with the average. That's fine. And then lastly, if you see a lot of repeats in the data, you go with the mode.